Welcome to this interview special where I'm delighted to be in conversation with Ghassan Mirdad, the CEO of Arabian Drilling. Well, just tell me a little bit about Ghassan. With over 2 decades of extensive experience in the energy industry, he's proven to be a visionary leader, a strategic thinker, and a results-driven professional. His profound experience has played a pivotal role in driving both the growth and success of Arabian Drilling, which we'll hear more about in this interview. So, Ghassan, it's a pleasure to have you with us for this International Finance Magazine interview. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure is mine.
Now, let's find out a bit about Arabian Drilling. Almost 60 years old. You've been in the gas and oil rig drilling business since 1964. The company has, not yourself. Can you tell us about your company's growth journey and track record to start things off?
So, Arabian Drilling is a Saudi champion drilling contractor. As you said, started inception in 1964 with one rig. It was an offshore rig that served KJO, Khafji Joint Operation, that operates in the border between Saudi and Kuwait. And the company have grown since, and today, you know, we own a fleet of 50 rigs. We operate in both land and offshore, which is usually not common. Usually you would find rig contractors, they dominate land or offshore. We actually play in both segments. During the growth, a lot have happened. Saudi Aramco became our client in 1972. In 2017, we acquired a company called Offshore that played an important role in Arabian Drilling, and it's specialized in rig moves. 2018 was a year where we proved to all our clients that we know how to grow. The whole infrastructure, the support functions, the operations. So we added 16 rigs within 8 months. To have one rig contractor adding 16 rigs for one client in one country, it's a massive operation. To do that with no incidents, excellent safety record, excellent delivery. So we acquired, we deployed and commissioned the 16 rigs within 6 to 8 months. And that's unprecedented. And this proves the strength of the company. Now, go forward, 2022 was really a pivotal year for us where a lot have been happening.
Why was it so pivotal for you? You joined as the CEO, didn't you?
Actually, that's a good start. So when I came in, the company used to have 2 managing directors. Each managing director represents a shareholder. So the company is owned by, before the going IPO, SLB Schlumberger, which is 49%, and TACA, which is 51%. So before it was 2 managing directors. So the whole structure have changed, you know, appointing a CEO. So I came as the CEO and the whole structure have changed. So that was one change that was not there before in Arabian Drilling. We changed the whole brand of the company. So Arabian Drilling, before it was ADC, the brand was there for 60 years. So a huge uplift of the brand and the identity. We added a new client. So we were always tagged that our client is Saudi Aramco KJO, but as well Schlumberger. So Schlumberger had this lump sum turnkey contracts with Saudi Aramco, and they subcontracted our rigs. So since SLB was a shareholder, we were tagged that we only operate with SLB. However, that to 2022, we kind of changed the perception, and we had Baker Hughes as the first new client that came on board. We started with 2 rigs, a 3rd rig came beginning of this year, and now they're asking us to add more rigs, be it in Saudi or tender with them outside of Saudi. So it went just completely different since we added Baker Hughes.
So 2022, a pivotal year, a momentous year. It seems like with the heritage of the company, Arabian Drilling, development over 60 years, a bit of a marathon, but then you went into a really fast sprint with all that development in 2022.
Yes.
So going back over those 60 years almost, tell us about some of the awards you've acquired along the way and also other achievements.
So one thing we are known for, so we like to control our destiny. So one thing we have is our training. So we have our own training and development that is in-house. And we took a lot of this from SLB DNA. And this helped us to achieve the highest saudization in any drilling contractor. So we operate more than 70% of saudization in Arabian Drilling. So we have won 5 years in a row the Activa Award. Activa is in Kingdom Total Value that looks at all of what you do in terms of in-country. So be it recruiting and training, looking at contractor, using local suppliers, working with the SMEs locally. So all of this adds to the Activa score.
So let me ask you about saudization. Is this what you want to do as a business, or is there government directives for organizations, companies like yourselves?
No, I think there is a big push from the government to push for saudization. And it's an important element for the country. But having said that, we still have a 30% that has multinational employees as well, because we really need different experience to come in as well.
So that's been a big achievement over those years. And what about awards, for example? What have you gained on the way?
We had, as I said, 5 years of IPO. 2 capital market transactions that happened in 2022. One was the Sukuk, which is a Sharia compliant bond. Yeah. And we had the IPO. In both, we have won the best 2 transactions of the year in Saudi Arabia.
So regarding the Sukuk, where was the interest? Was it sort of Middle East? Was it Saudi, Middle East, or was it global?
So Sukuk was mainly local, and it was oversubscribed with 3.5 times subscription, which actually gave us the feeling on the appetite of the investors, and they're interested in Arabian Drilling. And this really just paved the way for us during the IPO. And the IPO came 65 times multiple of oversubscription of investors, institutional investors.
And that was more global?
That was global, yes. The IPO was more and more global.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about Offsat, which is a subsidiary. What's their main focus of operation?
Okay, it's a very good question, because a lot of people think Offsat is a transportation company. And I say it's not a transportation company. It's specialized in rig moves. It's not just trucking. I'm
trying to visualize moving a rig. They're massive
exactly. Exactly. It's like moving a building, right? From one location to the other location. So it used to take us a long time. We dropped it to 10 days. And last year we dropped 30%. So we dropped from 10 to 7. Now, people might say, you dropped 3 days. What does that matter much, right? That is literally 3 days of extra revenue that you can get because of the rig move. So because of our fleet, we do more than 180 rig moves per year. So more than 180 multiplied by 3 days, that is an extra 1.5 years of rig revenue.
Sure.
That comes without any capex. It goes straight to your bottom line. So it played an important role for Arabian Drilling and the success that we have seen in Arabian Drilling.
So how was Offsat able to reduce that movement time?
So what we did is once we integrated the two, so you had the rig management, the guy who's managing the rig, and the rig movers, who's Offsat, working hand in hand. We had the support of the Saudi PIF. They had the entity that does the studies, so they came and helped us and did a lot of analytical data. They sliced and diced all of the activities that we do and seen how we can be very lean, very efficient, execute at the right time. And that really helped us a lot in being more and more efficient. Now, the next step I think that we're looking at is digitalizing this. And I think this will give us a more drop in number of days that we can save.
Well, we want to look into the future and sustainability, which is very, very important. But before we move on to that, some of your clients, you've mentioned Aramco, you've mentioned Baker Hughes and SLB. So yes. How do you feel you've assisted those organizations in their business?
So, Saudi Aramco is our main client, and they have, there is a lot that we can learn from working together. But one thing I would say, historically, Arabian Drilling was second to none in Operation Saudi because of our experience, our time that we've been working in Saudi, and because of the two partners, the two shareholders, be it Taka and Schlumberger. There was a lot of value that we added to improve our delivery. And what happened with Saudi Aramco, if we focus on Saudi Aramco, because we had this kind of level of performance, we set the stage for all the drilling contractors. And this what helped Saudi Aramco to work hand in hand with us and with other contractors and uplift them. So what happened now, all of the contractors actually performance have went up because they seen that, look, you have to deliver at this level.
So you've been raising the bar across the industry.
Exactly. And actually today, I think Aramco did an outstanding job working with other contractors, and they uplifted their performance, which at the end returns to Saudi Aramco's performance as well.
Okay. Now, what about Baker Hughes, or one of your latest?
So if we look at, exactly. So let's say Schlumberger first. Schlumberger dominates the LSTK gas, the lump sum turnkey for gas, and they only contract us. So we dominate 100% of the gas, which means the most toughest, harshest environment that you can drill. So this we dominate very well. So we helped Schlumberger to work hand in hand and deliver better than any other contractor. Now, when Baker came and we worked with Baker, we were not the cheapest, but yet they realized that we know the field better than our competitors. So they elected to go with us, and we have been delivering very well with them, working hand in hand. And this came with an outcome that they asked for the third rig, which started early this year. And as I said, now they're asking for more rigs per year end for Saudi, and we're looking how we can work together outside of Saudi.
And this is in an era where companies and governments are saying one has to move away from petrochemicals, and you're seeing this massive growth.
We need to think on the sustainability front. That is very, very important. But I think oil is an essential product that we can't live without.
So this moves us on nicely onto sustainability. First of all, I mean, there's a government plan, isn't there, in Saudi for net zero by 2060, which seems a long way away. But what are you doing at the moment? What is your strategy?
So as we speak right now, we're building our roadmap. I mean, if you go back into history, there is a lot that we've been doing. But just to highlight, I mean, historically, we always looked at the environmental part. So there is no spill. And this was like offshore and inland. As well, we used to always inland, when we go drill a well, we plant the trees around the well. That makes, because you're staying there for a couple of months, and these trees really kind of put a different ambience around the operation. And this was in the DNA all the time. Now, what are we doing different? Now we're looking at the operation and seeing how we can reduce emission. And the biggest part that really that impacts the emission in our operation is the utilization of diesel. So if you look at the operation, if we split the operation into two, so looking at the energy efficiency plan, you can look at two. One is the accommodation of the crew on the rig, so they're in the camp, and then the operation itself. So if you look at the camp is easily that you can go and use solar panels to operate. So we're trial testing different suppliers. And why we're using that? Because you cannot just get any panel to do a solar, because it has to be very durable. It has to work in harsh environment, and it has to be mobile, because we really move from well to well during our operation. Now, the second part in the operation. So in the operation, there is some activities that we can do in solar. So the lighting on the rig can be in solar, and we're working with one of the PIF subsidiaries, and it's PIF is the Southern Fund of Saudi Arabia. One of their subsidiaries is helping us to utilize certain technologies to use solar for the lighting for the rig. Now, the rig itself as operation, the voltage, is cyclical depending on the operation on the rig, and it goes very, very high. So using solar is not the solution. So we're looking at different ways. So the first thing is trying to use additives with diesel that can reduce the consumption of diesel. That's number one. Number two is go to the next step and how we can move and utilize batteries to operate the generators for the operation. And the ultimate is how we can even eliminate batteries and use gas.
So a lot of challenges there from the technology side, from what you're saying, and indeed, I guess a lot of research will be needed to carry out those energy savings and carbon savings. So I'm wondering now how you, Arabian Drilling, will be able to help the kingdom in achieving that net zero goal of 2060.
We're aligned with the country. We're aligned with our client Saudi Aramco. So what our ambition is to go to net zero in the GHG, greenhouse gas, is to go by 2050 to zero in scope 1 and scope 2, which will help the ambition goal of 2060 for the kingdom.
Right. So you've alluded to technology there in terms of sustainability at camps and so on, and earlier on about digitization. So fascinating insight into a fascinating industry, and something which I think very close to your heart, your passion, is the workforce and training of the workforce. And you have this model called Strive.
Yes.
Tell us about
our values. So we strive for excellence. We strive to have the best employees. We strive to be the best employer. We strive to be the best contractor for our clients. We strive to be the best client for our contractors. So strive, puts all our values together. So it has, each letter has a meaning for it. So S stands for safety, and the safety of our employees, safety of our client, the environment is in the heart, is the first thing. T is for teamwork. I mean, the rig contractor is a human capital intensive. So when you work as a team, together you deliver. When you work as a team with you and your client, you deliver. With your contractors, it's a totally different ballgame when you work as a team. So team is a very strong value that we believe in. So S, strive. S-T-R is reliable, being reliable.
And then we go on to I.
I is for integrity. I is for integrity. So integrity is very, very important. Being from an integrity with your clients, with your suppliers, with your employees. So V is for value. So what value we provide to our client, to our customers, to our contractors as well.
And E
is for environment.
Environment. Perfect. Fascinating talking to you. And I just want to have a sort of concluding thought from you, going back to what has been the momentous year for you, a very important year, 2022. How would you sum that up in, say, a sentence or two?
So as much as I say 2022 was a pivotal year for us, a lot have been changed. I think 2023 is going to be another outstanding year. We have proven to the market that our stock is strong. We deliver. I like what my CFO says. We do what we say, and we say what we do. So what we're seeing is our stock have appreciated from 100 to 106, so 60% increase in the window of 6 to 7 months. And what we're focusing now is the growth that we have won in offshore is now we're in the phase of deploying the 3 rigs that are coming for offshore. This is going to be a huge growth. And the second part is looking at the unconventional. So there is a tender for the unconventional, and we want to be part of this. We want to be on the next phase of growth. The first growth was offshore, which we played an important role, and we grow more than 70% from our fleet. But the next phase, the unconventional, and being a Saudi champion, we have to dominate this market and deliver to our clients. And last but not least, we're working on how to expand out of Saudi Arabia. What are the opportunities that are there to acquire, be it acquire or tender outside of Saudi?
That's another conversation, I think. And on that note, I'd like to thank you very much indeed for joining us for In Conversation, and wish you all the best for next year, which will be the 60th anniversary of Arabian Drilling.
Thank you for having me.